Yo, what's good YouTube? In today's video, I'm going to show you guys 5 incredible loadouts you guys should be using. So if you enjoyed the video, let's break 200 likes, subscribe with notifications turned on, and let's get into it. All right, so for our first gun up here today, we're going to be taking a look at the Krieg C. This is a really solid AR. I'm sure a lot of you guys have leveled up. Some people may not have the FFAR all the way leveled up, and I've covered that here a decent bit recently, so it's not going to be in today's top 5. But let's get in here and show you guys the attachments. So first thing, optic section, what we're going to do is we're going to go through on this Volzinski Reflex. I absolutely love this thing. It's definitely my favorite optic to use. If I am going to be using an optic, I think it is the move, unless I want to try something else out. Like when I was actually using the FFAR more recently, I went for the acute spot reflex, as that was basically the Black Ops 1 reflex, and it made it look like the FAMAS from Black Ops 1. So we have this on here, and of course I'm going to go into the customization. I'm going to change my reticle to the blue reticle. I really like to have the blue dot. So now let's get back in here to the attachments. Now for the muzzle section, I know we have the option here basically of the mono suppressor or the compensator. I think the compensator is going to be the better option for a large majority of the people out there. The Krieg does have that kick to it, so you guys want to do yourself a favor and really just go for the compensator. Honestly, it's going to make the difference that you're going to be able to hit your shots at longer range as opposed to having more range and not being able to hit your shots at that distance. It doesn't really make sense to have the ability to take people out far but not be able to actually hit them because your accuracy is going to suck. I mean, hey, if my accuracy is going to suck, I'm sure other people out there that aren't as good as me, their accuracy is going to suck even worse. So next up though, in the barrel section, we're throwing that gain twist barrel increase. That's massive increase to our bullet velocity. If you guys are playing big map like Verdansk, I'd recommend running the gain twist. But if you guys are going to be playing Rebirth Island, I'd say that you can definitely get away with running the reinforced barrel because you're still over 1,000 meters per second, which is basically right where the FFAR is at. And also your damage at effective range is now 53.3 meters. So you either got 44.4 or 53.3, so kind of choose between the two of them and you guys will be fine. So gain twist or reinforce, I'll just slap on the gain twist. Get help unlocking Dark Matter, Abyss, and Nebula camos in Black Ops 6 with Mitch Cactus. They're absolutely the biggest and most reliable in Call of Duty right now. Whether you want something across multiplayer, zombies, or Warzone, they're completely legitimate for all platforms. They're super trusted by the community, and you may have seen them all over YouTube, and that's for good reason. They'll unlock all your camos, augments, and more without needing to lift a finger. With over 17,000 reviews and thousands of personalized vouchers, they're the go-to for all things in Call of Duty. Use code Chuck at checkout for 5% off. Under barrel, we're basically still going to use the vertical foregrip here for that horizontal recoil control. Personally, I've not tested out the G grip actually on this gun, so I can't recommend it, though if you guys feel like it works a little bit better for you. On the FFAR, actually, it is something that I prefer based on the overall recoil pattern of it, so I use the G grip on that. But on this gun, I've been really sticking with the vertical foregrip as I found it to be perfectly fine. Lastly, in the magazine section, we're throwing on extended mag 2, which gives us 70 rounds in the mag. Super awesome, really like that. You're gonna be able to take out probably a full squad, honestly, with a single mag, which is pretty nice. So that right there is my full Krieg build. Next up, I'm gonna be showing you guys a build here for the Car 98K. This is the Cherry Blossom camo, I believe, from like Warzone 2, the very beginning. It was like the first camo we got. For you guys that are wondering, you can't go back and get that. That was a limited time event camo. So we're gonna get here to the optics section. We're basically gonna go almost all the way down to the very bottom. I looked at this beforehand, so I could just go all the way down, because there's 66 optics for this gun, and there's a lot for the MW2 and MB3 guns, but we're gonna go for the SPX 6.6X, or you guys can go for the range collar V3.4. It's not really going to matter. I find myself to be, it's like weirdly, depending on the day, I might be more accurate with this, or I might kind of vibe out a little bit more with this. Obviously, this is the OG Car 98K optics, so if you guys like that, go for that. If you guys want the standard crosshair that's very clean and easy to see through, then go for this. You can also put it out to an 11 times magnification, which is awesome. Honestly, I really don't think you're going to need 11 times, but overall 6.6 versus basically, what is it, 7 times magnification, basically the same thing, just looks a little bit different. Now in the muzzle section, you guys can go in here, and since there is 43 different ones, we're just going to go for a suppression since all these are relatively going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go down here and throw on the colossal suppressor. All of these, like, realistically, there's not going to be any difference. Maybe you can throw on the sonic suppressor, you can throw on the mono suppressor. I mean, it genuinely doesn't matter. Like, throw on whatever. I take that back. The sonic suppressor, I'm going to use the sonic instead of the colossal. That's what we'd ran like previously way back in Warzone 3. So he can run this, run something else, as long as it does the same thing, you know, and you're not getting, you know, minuses, then just run whatever. Barrel section, we're gonna go throw on the 7.62 long barrel. This is a necessary thing, much like the suppressor is to be able to extend out your range as far as possible. You have to run this long barrel. If you're not, you're just kind of missing it out. You are quite literally doing it wrong. There's certain guns where it's like it doesn't matter as much in what you run, but for snipers, it seems to be more of like specific builds, specific barrels, suppressors, etc. Now we're going back here to the target slings or the slings, and we're going to run the target sling. This is just going to help us with our ADS speed. It's also not going to give us any of those flinch resistance cons, anything else like that. I've noticed when I snipe here in Warzone, obviously when you get shot at, there is going to be a decent bit of that flinch resistance. So if you run something like a no stock, granted you'll be really fast, but also it's going to be quite hard to hit your shots as soon as someone gets anywhere close to shooting at you. So I like the target sling. I feel like it works great for me. Lastly, ammunition tab. We're going to go in here and we're going to go all the way down here to the high grain rounds. Not to be confused with high velocity or overpressure or anything else like that. You have to do the high grains because this gives you that bullet velocity and damage range increase. So we're actually going to slap this on here and you can see that it gets you out to 67.1 meters with all the stuff we have on here. So this is truly like a rebirth resurgence style sniper rifle. If you want to go big map, you're obviously using something like maybe like the FJX, the LW3A1 Frostline, the HDR obviously, but for rebirth, this can be really fun, and this right here is my full build. Now let's jump into a build here for the SOG, as I feel like this gun is very, very underrated despite actually being really solid. It's just one of those guns that has a bit of that recoil that you guys got to be able to control, so we'll try to do that to the best of our ability here. Barrel section, so this one's a bit interesting because I see people running the long barrel. I also see people running the reinforced barrel. It kind of just depends on what you want to do, to be honest with you. Long barrel versus reinforced barrel, I don't know what it is, but recently in Warzone, I felt like sometimes, even though when I have extra damage range, the bullet velocity being in the 500s feels like it doesn't hit as hard as the bullet velocity being in the 6 to 700s. Like I ran the reinforced on the C9, and that felt like it hit a little bit harder than the long barrel. It's just like, it's weirdly dependent, sometimes even on like how much latency you have in the server. It feels like your SMG hits harder versus, you know, less hard, depending on your latency. So long barrel, reinforced barrel, test out and see what works best for you. I see people run both ways, so I'm just gonna go for the long barrel right now. Under barrel, this is where we have some discussion on this. Vertical foregrip is gonna be really good just because this gun does have that recoil. Like if you're not running obviously a compensator on it, this thing is definitely going to move a little bit. So vertical foregrip is going to be a good option. If you can handle it, then go for the Ranger foregrip for the extra movement. And also I tested out the G grip on this thing, and that's actually a pretty good option as well. So realistically, 3 options in here. My go-to right now is going to be the Ranger or the G grip. And if I'm really trying to go more recoil stabilization, not really vibing with the recoil, I'm going for that. But otherwise, I'm going for the Ranger. So basically between these two, and if you feel like it's not enough, go for the vertical. So in that order, I'm just going to go for the Ranger right now. Magazine, we're going to go through an extended mag 2 here. 55 rounds in the mag. You guys kind of know the drill on this one. We ain't got to explain this too much. Rear grip, we're going to go through on the ergonomic grip. This is pretty much like my standard, like, you know, for all SMGs. Dive to fire, slide to fire, ADS speed, jumping aim down sight speed. You can't go wrong with that. I always say that slide to fire is a huge statistic for BO6 SMGs. Obviously, MW3 and MW2 guns don't have that because the game wasn't built there. Like their games weren't built with on-me movement. MW2 is quite literally built with no movement, like negative movement. So there's for sure none of that right there. And then obviously it just got progressively more movement, and now we have the most movement we've had in a while. So we have the ergonomic grip, even though they technically nerfed it down a little bit. They made it so you can't slide as much. And what is it, like season 3, 3.5, whatever it was. For a stock though, for a last attachment, we're either going to go for the infiltrator or we're going to go for the balance stock. If you guys want to be like super ridiculously fast, you can technically run the light stock. And if you have that Ranger foregrip on, you'll see your movement speed is, well, it's actually covered up by my face cam, but it's basically 6.3 meters or 6.3 milliseconds, whatever, however they, you know, measure it. Basically, that makes you one of the fastest SMGs in the game. So that's pretty cool. So light stock, if you want to be running around like stupid fast. Otherwise, go for the balance or the infiltrator. My go-to is the balance. I like getting the all around. It's really cool that this balance stock gives you the double green arrows as opposed to maybe double green for aim walking movement speed and then the single for the rest of them. So It helps you out quite substantially, so I like that. And this right here is my full build. Next up, I got you guys build here for the Grau. This is not the SWAT. This is the Grau. I don't classify it as the SWAT. No one uses the SWAT. Everyone uses the Grau. So first thing, obviously, we got to go for the Grau conversion. I really wish they would have just made the Grau a standalone instead of keeping this in the marksman rifle, since this is technically an AR. I mean, well, technically in Call of Duty. I have some people like to argue with me that in real life, you know, whatever, who cares? For our attachments though, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something a little interesting. We are gonna add an optic on here, and we're gonna add the Volziski reflex. The reason we're doing this is just because this is like, we have like one attachment slot where you can kind of do whatever you want with, and having a sight on this thing, genuinely, like no BS, makes this thing feel like it hits very, very hard. It does hit really hard anyways with the Volziski reflex, especially when you just have a good red dot on there or something like that. It just hits really hard. So we're gonna go do that. We're gonna go change this over to the blue dot. Now we're gonna get back into the attachments. Muzzle section, recommendation on this, ported compensator. This right here is like the bee's knees. This is what you want to run. You don't want to go for the mono suppressor. That's cool, but you are going to have more recoil. I'm telling you guys this right now. I was using the ported compensator and I loved it. Like, I've been absolutely frying with it. So you guys want to run the ported compensator. It will make your gun an absolute laser beam. After that, we're going to go to underbarrel, throw on the vertical foregrip. No reason to go for anything else. Magazine, of course, you're gonna go for the full auto mag, and that right there concludes our Grau build. Now for our final gun here today, I want to give you guys something that I feel like it seems like only the real movement guys use, and they use the KSV. Well, realistically speaking, the KSV is incredibly good. Like, it's a very easy to control gun. It does have some of that, you know, vertical recoil to it, and the iron sights are pretty easy to use, so I think you guys should have some good success with it. So first thing, barrel section, just kind of throwing the long barrel to increase out the damage range. 19.2 meters is pretty ridiculous. You could even get away with running the reinforced. Like, genuinely, you could, because 16.5 is still great. You have a really wicked fast, you know, bullet velocity. So long barrel or reinforced, you know, you're gonna be fine. So I'm just gonna go for the long barrel here. Under barrel, so this right here, I can see people like kind of like with the SOG, because it has some of that recoil. Vertical foregrip, vertical foregrip is gonna be fine because everyone liked the KSV grounded when it had the vertical foregrip on it, so that right there is going to be good. My go-to is the Ranger, but also the G grip is pretty good for that stabilization. So if you guys want more of that stabilization on your KSV, then go for the G grip, right? Like, that's going to be good, and the Ranger foregrip is going to be awesome as well. This is my, you know, personal preference. I like the Ranger. Magazine, we're going to go throw on the extended mag 2 here for 50 rounds in the mag. You guys definitely got to go ahead and do this. It is indeed the move. You 100% want to go for the extended mag 2. Rear grip, we're gonna go in here, throw on the ergonomic grip here. You know, this is what I always run on my SMGs. The last thing in the stock section, you guys want to go throw on the balance stock. I truly believe the balance to be better than the infiltrator for this gun. As you can see, only aim locking movement speed, but I get, you know, strafing movement speed, aim locking movement speed, you know, movement speed in general. So I really like that. It gives me basically the 2 green arrows minus the 1 down there. You really don't need to be able to strafe aim walking wise any faster than what the balance stock gives you. So that right there is my full build. That's my top 5. You guys enjoyed, give it a like, subscribe, check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.